Welcome to episode 11 of Auto Off Topic. I'm calling this Laying 11s.
Laying 11s?
Yeah, you ever heard that?
Yeah, burnouts.
Yeah.
Putting down strips.
You gotta have posi traction, though.
I was going to say, some of our guys put down ones.
Just lay down ones.
You could run next to me. We could run 11s that way. Two open diff cars.
So, I'm your host. I'm your A host, Andrew. Brad put a little note in here. Coincidentally, apparently A is for asshole.
Well, hey, you put down you're the A host, and I was the B host, so I needed to make sure that you knew where you stood.
B is for bastard man.
And Dennis is bastard man. Always Sunny fans.
So what's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you?
Not too much. I can't believe it's already been a week.
I know. It seems like we're just here.
I know, right?
And it's also like 50 degrees out today, which for New England is ridiculous for January 10th, 11th, whatever day is, 11th.
Well,
Actually, today 11th? Are we late 11th?
11th.
Are we late 11th?
That's why I call it 11. Yeah. It was so cold the last couple days. I mean, it was like
10.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit. Yeah.
Why do we live here? I'm walking outside. I'm like, it hurts to breathe. Why do I live here?
Well, I don't even know.
Yeah,
I can't answer the question. We're
nope.
here. We were born here. We're stuck here.
We just stayed here.
Life
We're not
goes
stuck
on.
here. We just decided to stay for some reason.
I'm a little more stuck than you. Not that I'm stuck. I just I have a kid in school and all that stuff. So I want to pull her out now, and someday we'll move away.
Mm-hmm. Someplace
hopefully
warm.
somewhere close to each other still, but we'll figure it out.
Yep.
Bro love.
It was so cold. Everything's salty. At least it rained though yesterday, so it washed.
Yeah, but it's going to
away.
rain the next 2 days and then be 10 degrees again on Saturday.
So it'll just salt
resalt
again.
Everything. Yeah.
I was like, gee, I should wash the cars, but I'm not sure if it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, I told Deb last night we got to wash her car before it rots away on us.
Yeah, I think I'll run the Montero through the car wash.
Yeah, just don't do the bottom blasters because it's
No, just the
oil
sides.
stuff on it.
Yeah,
just wash off the protection.
Nope, just wash the salt off the body. I mean, I did wax it a couple times, in the fall, like in the summer and then the fall. So
before or after we scraped all the wax off on the trees in the woods?
I did it before and then I did it after because I actually buffed out a lot of the trail pinstripes.
The New England pinstripes?
Mm-hmm. So anyway, the coloring contest is still going on.
Yes, it is. No entrance yet. In fact, Andrew and I haven't colored one either, so we should probably jumpstart that.
I think Stephanie was going to print some out because she's going home to visit family in Arizona. She was going to print some out for her niece and nephew to color in. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So we'll have official competition started.
That's right.
See, I was going to print them out for my daughter, but then I realized I don't have a printer in my house.
Oh,
so I need to buy a printer.
And you don't work in an office currently.
And I don't. My office is my house. I have a home office and no printer.
I have a printer.
I mean, I could go to Staples, but
I used it so infrequently that the ink dried up.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So
Printers are
annoying.
stupid. The technology should be better than it is. It shouldn't cost $100 for ink still, and it does.
Also joining us down here tonight is Enzo, the dog.
He is. He's sitting on the floor all quiet already, though, so that's good.
He's nice and quiet. He's sitting on the rug. He's going to protect us from any murderers that come in here.
He took off his jingle-jangly collar, so we shouldn't hear him too much.
Nope.
But he deserves to be down here anyway, because he's Enzo, and that's, automotive-related dog name.
Yep. He's kind of a jerk, like Enzo Ferrari was.
I don't know if he's a jerk.
He ate all my chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, he's a jerk. Are they homemade?
Stephanie made chocolate chip cookies from scratch. Yeah.
He must know what we're talking about. His head just popped up.
Yeah. So he ate like 12 to 15 chocolate chip cookies.
Does that make him a jerk, or are you an improper dog owner for leaving them in reach?
We thought we put them out of reach, but apparently he's a lot taller than we thought when he stands up. So,
well, we all know. You've seen The Secret Life of Pets, the movie, right?
I haven't seen it yet.
So you don't have a kid.
Yeah.
It's really good, actually, but
Animals
have quite a life when you leave the house.
Is it Pixar?
It is a Pixar movie, yeah.
It's probably good.
If it's not Pixar, it's the same style as a Pixar movie. I don't remember if it is or not.
I don't think they make cell animated movies anymore.
Yeah, not really.
It's all computer, whatever.
Every now and then something comes out and it's like, hey, a throwback, but as a general rule, they're all computer animated because I'm sure it's a lot cheaper.
Yep. Oh, you're probably like, your dog ate chocolate chip cookies. Did he get sick? He didn't really get sick because he's a big dog, and apparently it's like 12 ounces of it's like an ounce of chocolate per pound or something.
Okay, and he's like 70
He's
pounds.
70 pounds. He only had like 12 ounces of chocolate, so he was like up all night last night, like just pacing the house because all the sugar.
Straight sugar and caffeine from the cocoa.
Yeah. Dummy.
Yep. Oh well, my dog would have eaten it too. So
yeah,
my dog once ate my whole entire dinner when I went to get a beer out of the fridge. So I got takeout and I left it on the coffee table, And as I'm leaving it on the coffee table, I walked into the kitchen to get a beer out of the fridge. And I came back, and the entire, like, he wolfed down this chicken broccoli ziti like it was his job.
I better get this.
Yeah. We had taken him out to do his business like 4 times that night because all that milk content did not do him well.
Nope, and they don't care.
Nope.
Anyway,
on to important car stuff.
So no corrections omissions? Skip over that tonight?
We didn't get to talk last week because Jared was telling us his car history, and if he was wrong, nobody knows.
Nope.
So, not saying that you did anything wrong, Jared. It was excellent having you on. We enjoyed your car history.
Yeah, it was really great having a guest. So we're going to try to do that at least once a month, hopefully.
Yeah, to start. Mm-hmm. We were talking with our next guest today, or yesterday, whatever it was, about scheduling a time he can come down and record with us, so that's good.
Yep.
Y'all will be excited to hear him. Master fabricator.
Yes. Yeah. I have no project car updates. I haven't touched anything. I did buy some. I know you've got a box of Mitsu oil filters, but I ordered like 5 off eBay because they were so cheap.
Oh, really?
Factory
I have the
ones.
case in the basement. So
yeah, I'll have them tomorrow, and then I was going to change the oil on that over the weekend. That's about
Montero?
it. In the Montero, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I got to do Deb's Saab too. It's been a while.
It's kind of due. Well, I'm around Saturday.
Yeah. We'll probably do it Saturday.
You didn't get the head checked for the Raider?
I didn't. We're going to do that either tomorrow or Friday.
Okay.
So tomorrow being Thursday.
Because if you do get that checked and it's all set,
we can
do you
try
have
to
gaskets?
do it on Friday. I have the head gasket set. Well, I ordered it like a long time ago, and then I never picked it up. So
They
hopefully it's
still
still
have
at the store.
Oh, okay.
If not, I'll order it for next week. But
Okay, because we could just toss it on Saturday.
it depends. I don't know the schedule yet on Saturday.
All right.
My project car updates, I don't really have any either. I've just been busy shopping for trucks. So
Rusty Bro trucks.
Rusty Bro trucks. Man, they're all Rusty Bro trucks around here. I found one that's not rusty, and I'm working on a deal now, so hopefully it goes through. But I don't want to say too much and ruin the whole thing. So
I didn't know they were. I didn't know the Duramaxes were V8 diesels.
Yeah, the V8 diesels, which our listener friend Chris has been razzing me about, that all real diesels are inline sixes, and I shouldn't even bother.
That's kind of true.
Well, I like the reputation the Duramax has earned, and it has backed by that Allison transmission.
Yep.
And the only way to get an inline six diesel is to get a Dodge, which is still backed by a Dodge transmission.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with the
Caterpillar.
It's a Caterpillar, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Cummins.
Oh, Cummins.
Cummins, yeah.
Yeah, because you get like the only other thing I know of the old like Detroit diesels are straight sixes.
Yeah, well, I don't think the Duramax was designed as a gas motor first and converted over. I think it's just designed from the ground up as a diesel. So I'm not, and it's proven itself now over the past 10, 15 years. So it's a good motor.
I looked it up today because I was curious. I was like, how much power does that have? So it's 300 horsepower, which isn't a lot.
Not a ton,
but it's 520 foot-pounds of torque. Yeah, which is what diesels do. They just have torque.
And even though this is like a 6,000 pound truck, however heavy it is, I mean it really boogies off the line.
Yeah.
So
does it have a posi?
It's got a posi.
So it will lay 11s.
It will definitely lay 11s. Really expensive 11s with light truck, towing tires, but load range tires.
Yeah, you don't want to run that.
No, I don't want to beat the truck up. I got to rely on it to drive around. So, anyway, the truck we're talking about is what I looked at today. It's an 05. So hopefully the deal goes through on that because it's got the right mileage, the right options, and it's all set up to tow. So
yeah, because I need my truck picked up.
We need your truck picked up and some other stuff, and we found that Cressida online today, which we wanted to run out and get, but brown woody wagon Cressida. Oh my god!
Yeah, soon we'll be able to just up and grab stuff like that.
Yeah, we have a junkyard in Virginia to go visit.
Why? What's there?
I've been told by a friend of mine who bought a Rabbit from them that it is not really a junkyard, but more like a collection of parts cars, which are now old enough that they're not parts cars anymore. They could easily be restored.
Oh.
And they're all vintage import cars from like the 60s and 70s. Tons of Japanese, tons of German, air-cooled Volkswagens and Datsuns and all kinds of good stuff.
Neat.
Playing with the levels. I heard my headphone go up.
Playing the levels a little bit. We're still experimenting with audio quality. We're trying to improve it. So it's a learn as you go process.
Yeah, and if anybody has any input as to how it sounds, that'd be appreciated as well.
Yep.
So moving off of no project car updates.
We have scale project car updates.
Do you?
Yes. So I've been working on that pre-painted Aoshima Evo.
Yes.
So it's super easy because it's pre-painted.
That's the gray one.
It's the gray one, yeah. It's the final edition.
Yep.
Which we've learned.
You can still buy brand new.
You can still buy a brand new 2015.
Mitsu has them on their website for 2015. It's brand new. You could buy one now, like out the door for like $34,000.
They're cheaper than when I
Yeah.
bought mine in '08. But the problem
Right.
is it's the same car from 2008, basically.
I don't know though. For a brand new car,
The other thing too is I think at some point in 2013, for some reason they had to ditch the Recaro seats.
oh, that's right too.
The
They
best
have the base
part
model
about
Lancers.
the interior, because the interior isn't that great. So so you're buying an Evo and you get base Lancer GTS seats,
which aren't even that grippy.
no, they're terrible.
Yeah.
But it was something to do. Somebody told me,
Was the airbags?
yeah, but I don't understand because there's so many cars that come with Recaro seats. How could you not make these?
Maybe the airbags that needed to fit in that
Fit.
car didn't fit with the pillars. Who knows?
It's so bizarre and dumb.
Well, we're not buying one, so it doesn't matter.
No.
And in fact, now that I remember that, I probably would never even want to buy one.
Honestly, I would just buy one and you just buy seats. You just buy Recaro seats out of a wrecked car,
wrecked car,
and just
yeah.
put them in because it would be I mean, for me, if I could afford it, I would probably buy one just because I like them and I owned one and it's kind of nostalgia to have a numbered
Final edition.
to have that numbered final edition to kind of book in with my numbered Galant.
Right. I wonder if there are any more specific to the VIN and the number on these cars.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to-
I'll have to look that one up.
But anyway, the kit is just gluing and adding decals.
Does the kit have Recaros?
It does have Recaros.
Oh, it's not a U.S. market car,
No,
though.
it's not a U.S. market car.
Okay.
It's right-hand drive. So the decals are super nice. I put them in. The dash looks really awesome. Everything is I didn't detail paint anything except for adding a little bit of shadowing with the Tamiya smoke color.
Yep.
And then I've just been using. It takes me a little while because I've been using the the microscale crystal clear glue, just so it doesn't fog anything.
You have way more patience than I do.
Yeah, where I can. It depends on like heavy structural stuff like that suspension part. I had to use the super glue.
Super glue.
But it didn't fog anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, the opposite side now is looser than the side I
super glue
fixed. Yeah, so I might just take it apart. It's really easy and fix it. But anyway, next on that is just going to be like body and lights.
Yep. We got to get those finished, take some pictures, and put them up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, did you work on anything?
Not really.
No.
No, I've been running all over New England looking for a truck.
Yep.
So I've been driving around all day, Connecticut, down the Cape, and Western Mass, and everywhere looking for a truck. So
I did pick up that. I was at Target the other night. Picked up that C3 Corvette casting, the convertible, the race car.
the Hot Wheels one.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the Greenwood, like early Greenwood cars.
Yep.
It doesn't have the super wide body kit on it. It's like the early cars.
I think there used to be a release of that particular car that had the rubber tires and like a real life racing scheme on it. So
I did see a couple more of the track day versions last night. One of them was the Carmen Ghia.
yep.
I don't know if that's it. I didn't like it, so I didn't
It's
buy
kind
it.
of I like Harman Gias. Harman Gias are
I didn't like that particular casting the way it was set up. It's kind of like a drag car or
a
something.
little bit, yeah.
Then they had a version of the Chevelle.
Yeah, the one with all the flares and everything on
Yeah,
it.
I didn't buy it though. I was like,
I'm a bit of a completionist. I bought the whole set.
yeah, I didn't like them, so I didn't buy
They
them.
look good in the package. The next set is already out anyway, the Redliners,
Yeah.
the drag cars, which are really cool.
Have you been watching Dakar?
I'm not caught up.
I'm not caught up.
I'm through like day 4 or 5.
I'm caught up to Sunday, basically because Saturday through Sunday, I think it rained
they
a
rained
lot.
out a couple of
They
days,
rained
right?
out a stage on Saturday, like total mud, like pretty crazy stuff. But
I haven't gotten that far yet. I've just watched, it's an hour episode or half-hour episode.
half-hour episode on
Yeah.
NBC Sports in
I've
America.
watched the first, I think, 5 episodes.
It's really good coverage for a half hour.
It's better than nothing, and it's for the time frame they're allotted. You get a lot of info,
Yeah,
and it's pretty, of course.
yeah, it looks really good. They do a really good job filming it, and I don't like. I get the Red Bull updates, but I don't always, look at them.
Don't follow them all day.
Yeah, and I don't read it all day, but
The one thing being car enthusiasts, I wish that there was more of time spent on the cars and trucks than there is on the bikes and quads and stuff. I mean, I like it all.
I like the bikes. The quads, I could care less about for some reason.
I don't understand why either. I could care less either.
They just
You
don't
should like them. They're four-wheeled vehicles.
Yeah, they just
but
don't do anything for me. The dirt bikes are so much cooler when the guys know that they're being followed by obviously they know because they see the helicopter
Yeah.
and they at a point where they can just kind of cruise and they start doing tricks over jumps and stuff.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. Which, speaking of the lead KTM rider that was the favorite to win, he had plate number 1.
Right. Which means he won last year, right?
Yeah, Toby Price,
Yeah.
like crashed out and just broke his leg, like broke his femur, like just
That's sad.
it sucks.
It's a tough race, though.
It's a super tough race because so many top names were out in the first week. If like Nasser Al-Attiyah crashed the Toyota,
Yeah.
Did you see how they fixed it though? They tried to get it home, like they.
What was on 3 wheels?
Yeah, he lost the back wheel, so they
Yeah.
balanced it out with the spare.
Spare on the top of the hood.
And then, a bunch of rocks.
Yep.
They tried to just kind of drag it home.
That truck is awesome looking, by the way.
Yeah, those Toyotas
I really want one of those now.
and the Ford Rangers are really good looking.
The Ranger looks like a mini Raptor, and it is the coolest thing ever.
There's a Raptor, like a privateer Raptor, running around too.
Oh, is there? I didn't notice that yet.
But man, the Peugeots are just so goddamn ugly. They look like buggies. I don't know how they're in the cars class.
I'm not even sure. It looks like a Hot Wheels creation kind of thing. Like, it doesn't even look like a real car.
I know they built it purely to win the car, but it's just like not pretty.
It doesn't make any sense because they're supposed to be based not based on a real car because the trucks aren't either.
No,
but they're supposed to look like something. Like when Volkswagen ran the Touareg, it was the same similar
the Mini
setup.
at least looks like a Mini.
Yeah, it doesn't look good either though.
No, it's ugly. It's disproportionate, but it's a really nice looking race car. Sort of,
No,
I guess.
it's not.
No, I mean, yeah.
I want the Toyota to win just because it's a cool looking truck.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I care.
Yeah. And there's some privateer species.
There are. Yeah, they're not going to win,
Monteros.
unfortunately.
No. I mean, that's what makes those races is really, I wish they did a little more in the privateers.
Instead of the top 3 teams.
The people that show up and just do it.
They seem to with the motorcycles. They give the most coverage to the motorcycles.
Those guys, I mean, they ride all day. Then they got to fix their own bike. Then they got to sleep in a tent outside.
Yeah. Well, the day when it was like 110 degrees, too.
They had a refrigerator
they had
truck?
a refrigerator truck that was, 12 degrees inside?
Something, yeah, just to cool them
So
off.
they go for like almost 100-degree difference in temperature. They'd stand in it to cool them off and have them drink some water and to cool their core temperatures down. That was really cool.
Then I don't remember the guy's name. It was the first day. He was a Frenchman. He was a privateer, and he broke his wrist. Like, he made it to the finish line, and you can just see he's just crying. He's in so much pain. And they're, like, trying to set his wrist, and they just, like, wrap it. And he's like, no, I'm going to keep going. I don't know if he's still in it, but, I mean, that's hardcore.
Crazy.
I mean, you only get once a year to do it. So it sucks
and
if
you might
you can't
not get
finish.
in the next year either. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know how much it costs to enter. I mean, it must.
Sure, it's not cheap.
It's gotta yeah, and you can't just enter with like a shit box. Like you got to have like a nice.
You can't
vehicle.
Caswell Baja it.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Or like Gamblet.
A $500 car in the Paris to the car. The funny thing is that'd probably be what would it'd probably wind up being fine.
Yeah,
just slow.
And that huge roll by Carlos Sainz.
Yes.
In the Peugeot. That's the other thing. The Peugeots look unstable.
They're very wide. I think
they're super wide, but you see a lot of video, especially
they
Sainz.
look a lot more stable than the Iveco truck.
Yeah, but like Carlos Sainz gets the thing like on 2 wheels a lot. I don't know if he's driving because he's driving at 10 tenths or 11 tenths maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's cool coverage if you're not watching it.
Yeah.
Watch it. I think it's almost over, but
yeah, it is almost over.
It might be on demand or something, but definitely watch it. It's really cool stuff.
The heavy trucks they're
amazing to watch.
Awesome.
Yeah, and they don't get hardly any coverage, unfortunately.
No, they need more coverage. I mean, those weigh so much. They're full size like big rig.
Yeah, they're like straight jobs.
Yeah,
like what is it? 4, 8, 10 wheelers.
Yeah,
however many, but they get wide tires. They're probably not 10. They're probably 6. But
no, I think they're mostly 4.
Is that 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're
big trucks.
And they're super fast. I mean, they're doing like 95 miles an hour on the flats.
I think that those started as like support trucks.
Yeah, they were following them.
Yeah. And now they've become a class of their own.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool because there's 3. You get the driver, the co-driver, and then the ride-along mechanic. Mm-hmm. Then I was watching there's an awesome video. I think it's an Iveco.
That's one of the big trucks.
Red truck.
There, yeah.
It's slow-mo. I mean, they go up a dune, and they talked about one of the coverage things, like you're sitting in it, and you're basically looking straight in the sky, because the truck just goes straight up.
In a truck. The size of like a 28-foot U-Haul truck.
Yeah, so you're already like 6 feet off the ground.
The riding mechanic is even higher. Like the center seat's up high in the middle.
Insane. And then they were getting stuck in the mud on the first day, and just like, I mean, they're probably like 30,000-pound toe straps. They're just
they have to be because the trucks are almost 30,000 pounds.
Yeah,
probably.
and they're trying to pull them out of the mud, and they're just snapping them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. But
I wonder if anybody does a scale model of any of those trucks.
Are the new ones?
Yeah.
There's definitely the older ones, right?
I don't know. Not a plastic one, but maybe like a die-cast 1/43 or something.
Oh, I don't know.
It'd be cool to have one on the shelf.
I have a couple Dakar models that I haven't built anymore or built any of. So
I know you got the Mitsubishi
obviously,
Pajero from
yeah.
92 or 93.
I was at your house the other day, and I remember I traded you the 959 car.
Oh, yeah. The Rothman's 959.
Yeah, you should build that.
Yeah, I should.
That's a cool car.
I had to have a Mercedes G-Wagon. That was a parasitic car truck.
Yep. Yeah, back when they ran through Africa.
Yeah, like 79, 80. I wouldn't have been after 79. It wasn't the first year. Oh, geez,
I think it
here we
was
go.
79.
I don't remember.
Well,
I
anyway.
should look it up.
Yeah, we're not super good at motorsports. We're casual enthusiasts. This is casually talking about Dakar. And if you really are into motorsports, there's another podcast called DFL Show, and you should listen to it, and you'll learn why it's called DFL.
Yep.
But it's hosted by Brad Brownell, Steph Schrader, Eric Rude, Duncan Ende, I think that's how you say his last name, Patrick Hofstetter, and they are all motorsports nerds. Like, they get
In a good way.
Yeah. They know their shit.
1978 was the first year.
They know their shit about motorsports. So
Oh, no, 79. What's
check that out for motorsport stuff. So enough with Dakar. But
yeah.
the only other thing that Dakar makes me want is like deep center bore rally wheels, like rally weight
for your truck.
For my truck.
Yeah, they are really cool looking.
They are cool. But
that's the other thing we're a little bit biased towards liking Dakar because we drive Monteros, which Pajeros have always been successful. Actually, the most successful winning vehicle is a Pajero, isn't it?
So far, but they haven't won in a long time.
Yeah.
So, the Toyotas and the Peugeots, they're catching up. And then, of course, Peter Hansel still races, but he drives for Peugeot. So,
right.
if he continues to drive for Peugeot and if he wins, then they may eclipse that. So,
well, just Mitsubishi needs to get Mitsubishi is the most successful manufacturer in the car class.
So our topic for this week, we kind of realized when we were talking to Jared that I don't remember us going over our car history or personal car history.
I don't think we have. I think we tried to stay away from it at first because we didn't want to just be a podcast that was just you and me sitting here being like, hey, this is what we have for cars. I think that's kind of why we stayed away from it in the beginning. But we certainly should let people know how we got to where we are today.
Yeah.
And it was cool talking to Jared about it and learning about his car history. And it was just kind of like a walk down memory lane kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. So I'd like to do that with you because we've known each other for the entire time we've been driving. Mm-hmm. So we've each driven or ridden in each other's every car, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe you didn't drive my Cutlass because you weren't old enough yet.
No, I wasn't.
But you definitely rode in it.
I definitely rode in it.
So
there was a lot of hobby shop runs in that car.
Yes, they were. Last Pajero win was 2007.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was that one that's like based on the new Outlander, like that look.
It's not really a Pajero.
No, it was like a total works car.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But it was pretty cool. It looked good. Anyway, we'll move on. What was your first car? Your first car was the Oldsmobile? No.
Well, the first car I ever had, car I ever owned, was my Camaro.
Oh, that's right.
I still have it today.
Yep.
Because I have automotive background with my father being a huge car guy and a huge car collector. He told my mother when I was 8 years old that he was going to buy a car and put it in storage somewhere for me to get when I could drive it later on in life.
Didn't he buy you a Torino first?
Yeah, there was a Torino that he was going to give to me, but then he decided to sell it and buy something else. So that was never really. I consider the Camaro my first car because I don't know. At the Torino, I was 6. It didn't really count. So
those cars weren't worth a lot back then.
No, well, you think about it. In 1989, it was a 21-year-old Camaro. So
that's right.
I have a 1968 Camaro that my father bought off the original owner.
Yep.
It's a 68 SS 350 4-speed convertible. So it's a pretty good car to own now, but I can't sell it because it means too much to me.
Yeah.
But it's as far as value goes, it's certainly a car that has gained a lot in value. It's not like you bought a 75 Camaro or something. So,
no.
I mean, it didn't cost a ton of money in '89, and he put it away with the foresight that I was going to have it as a teenager, and I did. I didn't get it when I first became a teenager. He had me, drive my other car for a little while and prove that I wasn't going to be a complete jackass and ruin the car the first day I had it. So
it was kind of like wasn't that a local car that a guy special ordered? You should tell me a story about that car.
Okay, the car came from the Cape.
Yep. So the Cape is Cape Cod.
Cape Cod, yeah. I didn't bring the info with me, and it's been a long time since I've done it, so I don't remember the dealer name or the owner's name or any of that stuff, but I have everything that he ever had with the car from day one.
I remember you talking. Wasn't he a traveling salesman or something?
Something like that. Something where he's on the road.
And he had a stipend to buy
He
a
had a
company
stipend
car.
to buy a company car, and he had a few rules to buy a car. They said you had to buy an American car, and this is the budget you have, and other than that, go to town. Buy whatever you want. So he said, well, I want a Camaro. This is 1968, so the car was only a year old.
It's a cool car.
Yeah, he said, I want a Camaro, I want a convertible, I want a 350, and I want a manual transmission. And I want it to have disc brakes. Because I went to the dealership, and I still had the dealership brochure from his trip to the dealership where he checked off and wrote down his options that he wanted, which is pretty cool.
Which was cool, because back then you could select individual options.
Special order everything,
stupid packages that they bundle things now.
So he went and he checked off what he wanted. The Camaro in green with the convertible top and a 4-speed.
SS stripes.
And he wanted the 350, so he had to get the SS package.
Yep.
And he wanted disc brakes. So it didn't fit into the budget. So he said, okay, what can I delete? So they deleted power steering. They deleted power everything. So no power windows, no power steering, no AC, no power top, nothing special at all. And they deleted the radio.
Yep.
So it's got a radio block-off blade from the factory, which is pretty rare nowadays. That lasted this long with that one, too. Nobody ever put a radio in this car.
Yeah.
From day one.
And it's weird because it has an antenna spot.
It has an antenna on the...
But no antenna.
Exactly. So he got the car at the price range he wanted. So it's a, like I said, a 350 4-speed SS with the disc brake front. And he wasn't happy with the way the car performed.
Yeah.
He didn't like the way it stopped. So he went back to the dealer and he said, what can we do to make this car stop better? And they said, I don't know.
Yeah. What are you talking about, guy?
So he got in touch with somebody at GM, and he expressed his interest in making the car stop better. So they sent a kit to the dealership, and I have a letter of thanks from one of the VPs at GM at the time. They sent a kit to the dealership to upgrade to the stainless steel dual piston Corvette calipers and brakes for the front of the car. So the car has those put in the front of it now.
Weird. So they must have just bolted to the original spindles and stuff?
Yeah, everything bolts in. It just wasn't an available option on that car.
Weird.
But I have all the documentation saying it was done for that particular car. So
wow,
pretty rare setup.
Now, if you want, you've never done front brakes on that because
I've never had to do it because I only drive it, 1,000 miles a year.
I'm just wondering, like, if you went to do front brakes,
it'd be Corvette pads and stuff.
Weird.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to rebuild the whole front of the car this year because the steering box is getting a little sloppy, and it's 30-something years old.
Some fresh tires on it.
Yeah, it's 39 years old this year, actually, right?
Yeah.
39? 49. 49. 49. Jeez, the car's getting old.
Yeah.
I want to put some tires and wheels and stuff on it, so change a couple little things around. Nothing to ruin the character of the car, because here it is 49 years old, and the car is still in original paint, original interior, original top, original motor, 100% original, never been touched car. So
yeah, no, it's a neat car.
Yeah, it's a very neat car. I'm very fortunate to have gotten it the way I got it, and I thank him every day that I got that car the way I got it. So my first car I owned that I drove every day was a 1985 Oldsmobile Cutlass, which cracked me up thinking about it now, because I got my license in 1997.
Yeah.
So the car was only
10 years old.
Yeah, 12 years old when I got the car.
But the tech difference, we've talked about this before, the tech difference from a car in the 80s and like a car that came out
85 to 97 was a big jump in car technology. Yeah. Especially American cars.
Yeah, because anything now from like 2000 on doesn't feel that old to me.
Right, they all feel the same.
Yeah.
Honestly, from like 95 on, they feel about the same. That's usually when most cars, when I cut off my interest, is about 95, when the OBD2 became OBD1 became the standard, and
OBD2 in 95.
OBD2 in 95.
Yeah, basically,
whatever it was.
In 96.
It started becoming the standard in 95. So to me, that's kind of the end of the older style cars. And it's a big tech jump between like my 85 Oldsmobile Cutlass, which was a body on frame with recirculating ball steering and just a standard, same as a 1965 Olds Cutlass was. So that was the first car I had. Short story, it was owned by a neighbor down the end of our street. a couple years older than me, so he's probably 4 or 5 years older than I was. It was his first car, and he wrecked it, half a dozen times because he was a bit of an animal. Thought he blew the motor up, went out and bought a new car, and came down to, because his father and my father were friends, and he came down and said, hey, I'm going to send this car to the junkyard. Now your son is, I think I was 14 or 15. He's going to need his license pretty soon. Is he interested in just taking it and fiddling with it and getting it put back together for him to have when he turns 16? Because it's just going to the junkyard. So,
Yeah.
the junkyard probably would give him $25 then for the car. So,
It wasn't really a junkyard car either.
no, it wasn't wonderful, but it was faded. The paint was bad. The interior was worn.
But it wasn't, like, rotted out.
It wasn't great. It wasn't perfect, but it passed inspection.
I guess time makes things look better.
Yeah, it was the first car, so it was awesome. It was the greatest. It was the greatest car in the world when he was 16.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got the car to the shop, and my father was driving it, and he said, the motor is rapping like crazy, but it feels fine. So I don't understand what's going on. So we put it on a lift, we put it up in the air, and we dropped the inspection plate on the transmission.
Yeah.
The torque converter and flywheel are. And all that had happened was 2 bolts had backed out of the flywheel, and as the engine was spinning, we're whacking the bell housing. So we bolted them back in, fired the car up, and it was a normal-sounding car. So now he felt bad. Called the guy back. Hey, you gave us this car, and it's fine. Like, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I gave you the car. I already bought a new car. I already paid for it. I don't have time to deal with it because he was in college or something at the time. He's like, just keep it. I was bringing it to the junkyard, so it's fine. So the car cost nothing, which was good because, car insurance when you're 16 is very expensive. A couple grand a year at the time, which is a lot in 97. So I drove the car for a long time. Painted it Ford Toreador red, like the 97 Windstar color. And just drove it.
Yeah.
Went through a couple transmissions, went through a couple rear ends.
Kind of like a purpley metallic.
It was like a burgundy red metallic. It was a really pretty color. If you look at like a 97 Ford Windstar, they were all this red color. So, got the same color almost as like Dev's Saab is now.
Yeah.
But so that was next. And then what happened after that? I guess then it would have been
it was the Talon, right?
The Talon, yeah. Which leads us to today pretty much. So I got the Eagle Talon. After looking at a few cars, because I was like, I was a car guy, and here I was driving this 6-cylinder Cutlass, which looked the part of an old muscle car because it had, like rally wheels, and especially in wintertime with the big snow tires in the back, and so it almost looked like it had big and littles on it, but it was a 6-cylinder, little 3.8 6-cylinder with a 2-barrel car, but it was a real dog. So being a car guy, I wanted something fun. So I found that Eagle Talon.
Yeah.
Same original owner car. Was a probably mid-30-year-old school teacher from Peabody.
Yep.
So we bought that and learned a whole hell of a lot real quick. So that's the one we went into and didn't know anything about cars we knew about cars, but nothing about import cars. And went into that, bought it with 103,000 miles, didn't do the timing belt.
Nope.
Went out and I had the car painted and done up nice and did all kinds of work to the car.
I remember the first time it broke. I was with you. We pulled out onto the street doing 10 miles an hour. It just shut off.
Where were we? Highland Ave?
Pulled onto Boston.
Boston
No,
Street.
we pulled from Flint Street onto what street is that? The street the library's on.
Essex Street.
Essex Street.
Okay. Well, regardless.
I just quit.
So yeah, the timing belt let go because they don't last because at the time it was 1999 or 2000. Late 99, I think I bought the car. But I'd already spent a ton of money on it. So I paid $3,000 for the car, and I put a couple grand in the bodywork, and then I was like, all right, I just spent $5,000 in this car. We're going to put a motor in it. So, quick time out to take care of the dog.
Yeah, let me pause because
Yeah,
Enzo's being fussy, so
we'll be right back.
And we're back. Okay.
Sorry about that. We'll pretend it was a commercial break.
Yes.
We're not going to make any money, but we'll pretend it was a commercial break.
Insert commercials here.
Let's talk about shaving my head. Different podcast. Sorry.
I did, a little off topic. I did buy those finally
Yep.
because they're at Target. I didn't want to order them online.
Oh, really?
I was just like, ordering razors online is weird, but I tried them because they have some deal at Target. They actually are really good, but you clearly haven't shaved it.
I wouldn't know.
You haven't shaved in a while, so.
I haven't used a razor on my own face in a long time.
But anyway, you were talking about. So we're talking about the.
So we're talking
challenge?
about the first time the car blew up. So,
I don't even remember how many times it blew up now.
3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
You're getting ahead of yourself in the story here. So anyway, I was five or 6 grand deep in the car within the first few months of owning the car.
It was only a 10-year-old car.
It was 10, but I had 100,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't do the maintenance because I didn't know any better. 'Cause I was a dumb kid.
we're not helping DSM cause.
Right. Well, we know better now.
Yeah. But this is still what happens
to
today.
these cars. People buy them cheap and they drive them and don't maintain them and they break. Some people learn fast and learn to do it themselves. Some people spend a ton of money in the body before they spend any money on maintaining it, and that's stupidity. So, since I did not know what I was doing, I did not know why the car blew up. I didn't even know the car blew up. I just knew it just stopped running and wouldn't restart again.
Yeah.
So, I sent it to a mechanic. The mechanic said, well, you're talking about broke. Maybe you got lucky. Not knowing DSMs yet at the time, there is no way to get lucky.
No.
So, you're always going to ruin something.
Interference all the time.
Yeah. Well, I remember that he called up and he said, you're missing a piston. Mm-hmm. He goes, I think it's probably in the oil pan. So it completely powdered number 3 piston and dropped it in the oil pan. So I needed a whole motor because the valves were junk and everything was junk. And it was just not a good scene. So stupid 19-year-old me said, okay, I'm already 5 or 6 grand deep in this thing. I can't just throw it away because I have no more money. What am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to take out a personal loan to put a new motor in the car and pay somebody to do it. So, 19-year-olds listening to the show, don't take out a personal loan to fix your car.
Don't buy a DSM.
No, do buy a DSM, but learn how to fix it first. So, now all of a sudden, I'm $10,000 deep into the car, because now I've put $5,000 into the motor. Which lasted all of 2,500 miles?
Yeah, I don't know. It was like a bad rebuild somehow.
Well, not somehow. It was the keyway on... Is it keyway on the crankshaft?
Yeah, and
The keyway on the crankshaft was missing, so they put something else in that fit.
instead of like
Instead of the proper like half moon shape
Woodruff key.
Yeah, the Woodruff key.
That's
Yeah.
like $5.
Right. So when they assembled it, they didn't put the proper piece in there.
I didn't know this.
So whatever they put in there failed. So
Probably welded or something stupid.
more than likely, I don't know what they did, but nonetheless, it failed right after the break-in period.
Mm-hmm.
So there I am again with a dead motor. They did pay for the motor,
Yeah.
but they didn't pay for the labor,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know enough at the time to know that they screwed it up in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened. So now I'm on motor number 2. I've paid another. I think I paid $700 for labor to have them put a motor in it, which was probably not a bad deal at the time, and they were giving me a break because of what happened.
Yeah.
But so now we're in the car for $11,000, and I've maybe driven it 5,000 miles.
When did the first transmission go?
Right after.
Okay.
Right after that, the transmission let go. Again,
This is really not helping the DSM.
this is really not
cause.
helping the DSM cause, no. Again, it was due to lack of maintenance. I don't think we ever changed the fluid in that car, in the transmission, because what the hell did I know? I just wanted a cool, fun car, and I learned to drive standard on it. So the second gear synchro didn't like me anymore, and he'd just be driving down the street, and it would just pop out of gear.
They're always shitty in those cars, anyways.
Well, it got so shitty that it just wouldn't shift in a second anymore. So we put a transmission in it. Or I had the transmission rebuilt by a transmission shop that was supposedly the best. I think that was $2,500. So now I'm into the car for $13,000 plus. Get the car back, still won't shift into second gear. It will shift in second gear, actually, but it won't shift into second gear with any kind of any kind of speed, and not like drag race speed, but like accelerating at a normal rate speed, so without double clutching. So that was a big fight. They eventually put another transmission in the car for me. Somebody else wound up rebuilding it, and it came back fine. In fact, that transmission still lives on now.
Oh, that's the one that's in my
That's
car?
the one in your car now.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, well, it was. They realized they didn't know what they were doing at this supposedly best transmission shop in the area.
Yeah.
And they sent it out to somebody. I never knew who it was or where it went, but somebody who said they specialized in them. So not knowing who it was at the time, I couldn't tell you who built it because I know who I paid, and it wasn't the person that did it. So
Yeah.
could be a Shep tranny for all I know, because it shifts really well.
It's not a Shep tranny.
No, I know it's not a Shep tranny.
There's one, I do have a Shep tranny in the Gallant,
Yeah.
which I got for a song.
So now that's all good and ready to go. Maybe I had it for another year or so, and the timing belt snapped again. I don't think we ever looked in to find out why, but it only had maybe 7,000 miles on it.
I felt like one time the balance shaft belt gave loose or something. I don't know why.
I don't remember.
It couldn't have been OEM belts.
I've kind of put it out of my head at this point. So the motor popped again, and I was like 15 grand deep into the car, and it had only been like 2 years. And I just was... That doesn't even count the wheels and tires and exhaust and suspension, all the other stupid stuff I did to the car. So I just got frustrated, and I parked it, and I thought about fixing it, and then you needed parts to build yours.
Yeah, I need the transmission, so I parted the car out.
Yeah, so I sold it to you for way too less than the transmission cost to rebuild, and that was like $400 or $500 I think I sold it to you for, right?
Yeah,
maybe even less. I don't remember.
Yeah, I sold the blow motor for like $500.
Yeah, I know.
It was a 6-bolt.
Yeah, well, life goes on, but it's because I didn't take the time to open the motor up either. I was just so done with the car. It didn't need a bottom end work. It only bent valves. I remember, and I assumed it was going to be bottom end work again. I just threw it away. So
I think I put the car out of its misery and we sent it to the junkyard.
I don't discredit you for what you did. So
it deserved to be crushed.
It was so pretty.
It was pretty, but it was cursed.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so someday I will have another blue 1990 Eagle Talon.
Yep.
Just because that's the car that, despite all of its problems, it's the car that led me down the path that I am on now. That led me to sitting here on a podcast with you and running my Vintage Imports of New England business.
That's right.
Because it's the car that really taught me a lot about mechanics, taught me a lot about wrenching, and taught me a lot about patience and the order of operations. Mm-hmm. Don't spend money on making it pretty until you make it right. So that's something that I have certainly really pushed to do ever since then. And I'm sure as you or anybody that knows me personally knows that most of my cars now are pretty damn ugly.
Yep.
Because I don't spend any money making them pretty.
Nope.
Someday I'll paint something.
What was after that car?
Starion. Audi.
Oh yeah, the Audi was cool.
The Audi was cool. This was in 2003.
Yeah, so it was an 01. It was only a couple years old.
It was only a 2-year-old car, but I had 75,000 miles on it.
1AT Sport.
Yes. I was looking for a 97, 98 because that was in my price range, which at the time was like a $10,000 car.
Yeah.
Just for a daily drive or something fun to drive. Again, I was going from an Eagle Talon to an Audi A4. It probably wasn't the best decision.
In my opinion, that generation of Audi Volkswagens is probably the best.
The 98 and 97 cars were not the ones I was looking at.
Really?
Yeah, they're cursed with
well,
a lot
I meant
of weird
like
problems.
The 2000s, early 2000s?
The B5 or whatever. Body style.
B4s?
I don't remember.
Shit.
I forget. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so anyway, the car was an 01, and I bought it in 03.
Yeah.
I worked at the Chevy dealer, and our wholesaler came in with it. And I was like, hey, I'm looking for one of those. What year is that? I knew it looked too new because it had the one-piece headlights, which were the high-intensity lights, and it had the wheels that looked newer. And he goes, oh, it's an 01. And I was like, oh, that's too out of my price range. Because what are you looking for? I said, I'm looking for something around 10 grand.
You forget this is Boris.
Yeah, Boris. Not Boris Karloff, but Boris, the used car guy.
I'll give you a good deal.
He did give me a great deal because the car had 70,000 miles on it.
You help me out. You give me a good deal.
But it was 2 years old. It had a dent in the door. He charged me 13 grand for the car.
Yeah.
Somebody paid almost $40,000 for the car 2 years earlier. So I paid 13 grand for the car.
He probably bought it for like 6 or something,
sure
knowing Boris.
I'm sure he scored it somewhere, but I don't care because he passed the savings on to me.
Yeah.
So it was great. That car was awesome.
Yeah, because otherwise it was going to get shipped to Russia.
It was an 01 180 Sport, which if you know anything about that generation Audi, that's the car to get if you're looking at a 180 Audi. It's a last year car. It has the better 180, the higher horsepower. It's a Sport, so it was like 1.5 inches lower from the factory. It had the 16-inch alloys, and it had a cloth interior.
Silver on black.
With silver, like they all were.
It was a pretty car.
With the blackish gray cloth heated interior with a sunroof, HIDs, and it had the Monsoon Bose stereo, and it was a really good-looking car and a really reliable car, and that car never let me down, really.
Nope.
I mean, I got to check engine light like once, and it was a cam sensor.
And you didn't have it. It wasn't old enough for the dot matrix display and the center dash to go bad.
No, everything was like brand new in the car. It was a great car.
Yeah, I
The
remember
heated
that.
seats worked one. Like, I remember the first time I got the car. I remember sitting in it in my parents' driveway and just being like, "How the hell did one of us buy this thing? Like, this is way too nice for us."
The Volkswagen heated seats are like little fires.
Oh yeah, it's hot. It's hot. So I had that car for a couple of years, and it treated us well. We autocrossed that a few times. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Because that was in N stock or NA stock, or no, novice A stock. It was NAS, novice A stock.
That would have been A stock.
I remember it said NAS on the side of it. What would it have been?
A stock would have been like an Evo S2000. Those
Or maybe my Evo was
that might have been like B or G or something.
or H.
Yeah.
Actually, it was the same class as like a Saturn SW2. I remember because I was running against those guys and I couldn't beat them
Yeah, because those are really good autocross
for
cars.
some weird reason. Yeah.
Because they're plastic bodies.
They're lightweight. But anyway, so I had that car for a while, treated me well, and then I said, well, I've had this car alone now for 2 years. I've established some credit. Now it's 2005, early 2005.
Yeah.
I want an Evo, so I bought an Evo.
Yeah.
There's other cars in between. I had the El Camino for a little while. Sorry, the GMC Caballero, which Andrew hates.
I hate that generation El Camino.
Guilty pleasure car. It's a Caballero, which I never drove, and I bought an '87 Conquest, which was purely based on my Eagle Talon prior, because I was like, hey, these Mitsubishi turbo cars look fun. Can I buy one that I don't drive every day and maybe be more reliable? So I had that red '87 for a while.
That was a nice looking car.
That was while I had the Audi.
For a New England car, it was in pretty decent shape. It had the classic couple spots where they
Couple
rot
spot in the quarters behind the rockers.
the frame rail.
I had the right frame rail. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's caused by the air conditioning, actually, in those cars.
Ah, it doesn't
There's
drain
condenser
right.
drains down there. Yeah. So that car was in between there. I can't get into car history of all of my cars because we'd be here all day. But the important ones are Camaro, Cutlass, Talon, Audi, and into the Evo. And the Evo finally really cemented my Mitsubishi love because that car was flawless all the time. I mean, it was pretty new. It only had 7,000 miles on it when I bought it.
03.
03.
Sorry, 03 black SSL.
Tarmac black.
Yeah.
Yep. Sun, sound, and leather. No, not leather. SSL didn't mean sun, sound, and leather yet. I don't think there wasn't SSL yet. It was a full option car. I think SSL came out in
I thought it was SSL.
04 with leather. Cause wasn't it sun for the sunroof, sound for the stereo, and L was leather?
SSL.
Yeah. Sun, sound, and leather. I didn't have leather.
Oh,
They didn't
okay.
have leather in the 03s.
That's right.
Regardless, it was tarmac black with HIDs, sunroof, big stereo, all the stuff that you wouldn't want in a race car, but it made for a nice driving street car.
Wicked nice car.
Wicked nice car.
Yeah, super nice car.
I went through brakes a lot on it because I drove it too hard.
Yeah.
But that was about it. After that, it's been a succession of old, crappy cars that you've all heard about already.
Yep.
Volkswagen Golfs and GTIs and Jettas and Colts and lots of Colts. Lots more Conquests and Starions.
Yeah, but those are all current cars, so we'll talk about those more.
Yeah, we don't have to go
Most of
into
them are
all
current,
those.
so we'll touch on those in
Because I
Project
don't,
Car Updates.
I don't really get rid of things.
Yeah, no.
Kind of adopt them, and
Yeah.
so there's I think there's 12 cars sitting around New England that belong to me.
Jesus.
Yeah, 2 motorcycles, 12 cars.
Well,
They're kind of everywhere.
I'll go through mine pretty quick because we do have a good amount of listener
You
questions.
want to save yours for next week? 'Cause we got a good amount of list of questions. How long have we been going for already?
We're about 50 minutes. All right, let's do listener
Yeah,
questions.
let's jump to listener questions.
We'll
We
save
can do
mine
your
for
car
next
history
week.
It's actually kind of a similar car history.
Yeah.
A bunch of Mitsubishis and a couple other cars.
Well, when you hang out together, you grow up together. That's what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
People thought it was weird that you'd have the same cars as your friend, but I don't know. If you like the same car,
Yeah.
it's not weird.
Nope, not at all.
Whatever.
The one thing I do regret is that your Talon and my Talon never really ran together at the same time. I remember like one
few
or 2
times?
days doing it,
Yeah,
but I wish
not
we
a
had them
lot.
at the same time. Listener questions. Question number 1.
You want to read that one?
From Joe Osborne.
Yeah.
Joe Osborne says, rally friend, camping friend, about to have a baby.
Yep.
Why the hell have there been so many don't warm your car up articles this year? There's literally a new one every day this season. the Facebook, don't warm your car up, it's bad for your car.
I think it's just an easy article it's clickbaity article that people will just click on and read and share on Facebook.
It's full of misinformation.
Do you warm up your car?
Absolutely.
Well, especially the other day when it was like 10 degrees.
Yeah, even when it's 70 degrees out. I don't just get in the car, turn it on, and drive away.
If it's 70 degrees, it's like 30 seconds.
But still, you get in the car, you start it, it's got a fast idle.
Yeah.
I don't care how new the car is or how old the car is, it's going to have a fast idle.
Plus, the oil is like molasses.
And it hasn't circulated around the engine, and your valves are dry, and everything is just... everything needs to circulate and move.
The best example I'd ever seen of congealed oil was during the Winter Challenge Rally when it was 14 degrees last year.
And you add oil
to the Raider, and it was in the back of the truck where it was cold, and it literally poured out like maple
molasses.
syrup.
Yeah, it was pretty awful.
Yeah, like cold maple syrup.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
We couldn't even check the level because we knew it was just sitting there in the top of the cylinder head.
Just
So yeah, I don't know why there's so many of them other than what you said. It could be a clickbait thing. Makes people read it, makes people talk about it. Don't listen to them. It's not right. Warm your car up. It's better for your car.
At least a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the one article was talking about how the cars are designed to give you more fuel when they're cold, which is true.
Yep.
But it was saying that it washes the oil off of, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't do it. That doesn't happen. The fuel does not drain down past the pistons when you start your car up on a good running car.
No.
I mean, maybe some vapor, but I mean, you get a giant explosion every time the thing tries fuel in, and all the fuel goes away.
The car would have to run so rich
that would just smoke
to fuel wash into the oil.
Right.
No.
Well, that's what they were saying. The article that I saw yesterday that I had to debunk on a friend of mine who's a non-car friend, his Facebook page, he put it up saying, "Oh, I guess I shouldn't warm my car up anymore." And I was like, "No, you definitely should warm your car up." But the article said what happens was it sends so much extra fuel that the fuel washes down past the pistons and it dries because it's fuel, so it flash dries. And it dries the oil off of the rings, and the rings score the cylinder walls.
No.
Right. More than likely, there's not going to be enough oil.
That's
the cylinder walls
score the cylinder walls because you've driven off and are now doing
running the car with
3,000
no oil.
RPM. Yeah,
with no oil on the top end.
Yeah. No.
So warm your car up.
Yeah.
Please warm your car up.
Just warm it up, and then of course the big article that went viral this week was the Michigan man that got a $128 ticket for warming his car up.
Yeah, exactly, which is baloney.
Because apparently in Michigan, you have to have the keys cannot be in the car or something.
If you have a remote start, you can start your car and let it run, let it idle. If you have the keys in the car, you can't start the car and let it run.
Which is interesting.
It's an auto theft thing.
Yeah.
Because Michigan still has pretty high auto theft rates.
Yeah.
So they're trying to keep auto theft down.
Yeah.
But
if some dude steals my car because it's 10 degrees outside and he needs a car.
Yeah, he needed it more than I did.
Yeah, I'll take the insurance.
Yeah, it's insured.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't... I warm your car up. Next question.
That little hint was from our buddy Ryan Retzma.
Who's in Michigan now, actually.
Lives in Michigan now.
Works for one of the major manufacturers.
Yes, he does.
And he just bought a Skyline.
Yeah.
So come back with that Skyline, please.
Yes.
R32.
I guess, well, Dmitry Elpinski asks, is Subaru better than Mitsubishi?
One-word answer? No.
I like both.
Two-word answer? Still no.
I've owned both. I like both. I don't mind working on either.
More detailed answer? Shut up, Dimitri. He's actually a Mitsubishi guy.
I think he's a Quattro guy.
He's a Quattro guy and a Mitsubishi guy.
Yeah.
But every time I've ever seen Dimitri, and we've crossed paths at a few rally events and car shows all over the country, actually.
Yeah.
We kind of have the same travel schedule. He's always been wearing a rally art jacket.
Actually,
so that, to me, makes him a Mitsubishi guy.
You know what's funny is how we met him was because we went to Imports at Carlisle.
Mm-hmm.
And
we had your Galant VR4 and my second
they were
red
next to each other,
Conquest.
And he took a picture between them.
Standing
like
between
both
them.
cars.
Yeah.
And for somehow
somebody tagged us in his picture on Facebook.
Yeah, so friend of friends, and that's how we found him.
Yep.
Kind of weird.
But now I know, I'll consider him a good Facebook friend.
Yes. We should talk about going to Imports of Carlisle this year. I haven't been there in a while. You've been a bunch of times.
It changed a lot. We'll talk about that later. I do want to go again because last year, the first year of the change, it rained. So I'm hoping it'll be better this year.
Okay.
But I would like to go time it maybe with some other stuff in a trip. But
well, hopefully,
I'm going to go promote my business there. So
if we can figure out, I think it's kind of close, Centralia. the abandoned coal mine town that is on fire.
My plan is to, or wasn't it on fire currently?
Yeah, it's been burning underground for like 70 years. It's coal. A vein of coal is on fire, and the town is uninhabitable.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it's all, yeah, you can just drive there. You can look at it on Google Maps. It
I'll
exists.
check that out. I do plan on going there, like a vendor booth.
Oh.
We'll set up a Vine booth, and we'll also have auto off-topic stuff and
Well, I was
promote ourselves.
well, I should have my new truck, and I was going to bring my new truck so I can camp out of it because it's a cool import.
Yep. And I'll probably bring a truck and a trailer, and I'll trailer it on my 4-wheel drive. We can go to Centralia afterwards.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. So I believe Mitsubishi's better than Subaru.
I like both.
Andrew likes both, but it's okay to be bi this day and age.
Yeah, whatever. Mustafa Samil, what does a hen weigh?
What does a hen weigh? What's a hen weigh?
I don't know.
About a pound and a half.
I guess. Depends on is it a chicken? I don't know what it is. Hen weigh?
Mustafa, fellow Galant VR4 rally car driver.
Mm-hmm.
Rally car, fellow Galant VR4 driver, but rally car style, I should say.
Joe Stanley asks, as people that have driven the country a good amount, what are the biggest differences you notice between drivers in different states, regions?
First of all, Joe Stanley, thank you for asking a serious question.
Yes.
That's his first.
Yes. It's a good one, though.
It's a very good question. It's a good topic, too, where we're going to be driving to Arizona next week.
Around here, people left lane squat constantly.
That's nationwide.
Nah.
Anywhere I've ever driven.
When I drove cross country, I noticed as I got out towards the middle of the country, people respected it more. The drive right, pass left. Here, absolutely, people do not respect it.
No.
It's terrible.
Especially in a Prius.
Oh, it's awful. And the worst is you get on the highway, or you're on the highway driving, and somebody pulls on merges, and then immediately goes to the left lane.
Right.
You don't need to do that. Why do you need to do that?
Because they want to be out there where it's fast, man.
The other thing,
Even
too,
if you're not going fast.
If you're in the left lane, you do not need to police traffic behind you and go the speed limit. That is not your job.
Nope.
Don't do that.
Nope.
Just drive in the center lane or drive in the right lane.
Alternatively, if you're in the center lane and somebody is on your bumper, you do not have to move out of their way.
Yes. They can
pass you in the left lane. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
The center lane is there for when you're cruising down the highway.
Yeah.
So that's not one that aggravates me.
A lot of people pass on the right here. Sometimes you have to pass on the right because people are just squatting in the left or they're driving slow in the
center. The one
thing
I noticed more in New England, it's coastal. It's New England and California.
Mm-hmm.
People drive really fast and really aggressively.
Yes.
Everybody's in a hurry 100% of the time.
In California, when I drive there, what freaks me out is lane splitting with motorcycles. That is freaky as fuck.
It doesn't freak me out.
People don't do it here, but but people do it in California when it's a freeway in California. We call them highways here, but when you're doing like 65, 70 and people are still lane splitting when there's not that much traffic, it's super freaky.
What freaks me out California driving is the trafficators, or what do they call it? Traffic merging devices, stoplights on ramps.
Oh, they have those in Arizona too.
Yeah, I don't like those. Especially, I've only driven rental cars really in California.
It kind of makes sense. I mean, it's one at a time.
Yeah.
So at least you don't have people. It probably prevents the rear ending that happens here.
What it prevents for somebody like me who drives old cars is being able to maintain a safe highway speed on the highway.
It's only on
the
rush
cars
hour
accelerate so slowly compared to modern cars.
Well, don't drive at rush hour.
If I'm driving a 75 horsepower Dodge Colt, I want to be able to accelerate under the highway on the on ramp, not have to come from a dead
that's the other thing too. Up here, we have yields to get on highways, and there's not. Some of our highways are a lot smaller.
Right.
There isn't merging lanes.
There's no merge lane.
You need to get on the highway, so you need to use the on ramp, and you need to time it by looking, because you have a yield. You don't have to stop. You need to time your entry into the highway and just slide into traffic at the right speed.
You need to be going faster than your highway speed entering the highway.
Yes, because there are so many times where people will get all the way at the end of the ramp
and then realize they screwed up
and a yield, and they will stop. And there's been plenty of times, like when I was in the Mirage, because that thing needed to be wound up, I would just go right around them and just merge.
Yep.
Or somebody would be stopped. I actually had one time, I saw that somebody had stopped, and their traffic was kind of heavy, so I stopped like 6 car lengths behind them and then waited for a gap, and I was about to go, and this dude in an SRT4 got mad behind me and went around me. It's like, well, dude, you're in an SRT4. You can accelerate.
Yeah, I can't.
I can't. It's like, whatever. Anyway.
So I think it's more aggressive on the East Coast and the West Coast, and the more inland you get, the more laid back everybody is. Which isn't just driving; it's just people.
Speed limits get higher.
Yeah, they do get higher.
It's slow out here. Although up towards New Hampshire, they have upped them to 70, which is nice.
If you have a car that can maintain a higher speed. I just need more cars. I just need new
70
cars.
is fine. You can't do 70.
I can do 70, but I can't like the NSU.
Yeah. I mean, the Montero has a little trouble as you get in elevation, but...
Yeah, in my Montero, that's when I blew it up, and I was doing a steady, like, 80. So, stupid.
Do you have a tailwind? Are you going off a cliff?
No, we can get up there eventually. I was driving all the way from Maine to Beverly.
Oh,
so I had plenty of time to get there. I mean, I think I'd gone all the way through Maine and New Hampshire, and I was in, like, Groveland, Massachusetts by the time I hit 80. But I was doing 80.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Next question.
Well, actually, this is from Evan Lacey. So he says, I know it's more of a request than a question, but will you guys do this one in your underwear? And we aren't, but we'll say we are.
Should I be putting my underwear back on now, then?
No, in your underwear. Why is it off?
I'm kidding. It's not. I'm fully clothed.
Enzo's with us, the dog.
I'm fully clothed.
He is completely naked. He has no collar on.
He's furry. It's all right.
We call that going naked when you take his collar off.
Yes, thank you, Evan. We will not do this one in our underwear.
Nope.
We will do it in our clothes.
Nope.
We're not comfortable enough. Maybe if you come over and request it in person.
Maybe.
Maybe.
What if I'm not wearing underwear under my clothes?
Don't need to know.
Okay.
You're saying, sir, the only thing separating me from you is a thin layer of denim?
That's right.
More. It's always sunny things. All right, next question.
Denim chicken.
Jared Robinson, last week's guest. How long before we make an auto off-topic Lemons car?
And then my follow-up question was, why not Chump Car or American Endurance Racing? Because to me, Lemons, yeah, they say $500 car, but you spend way more than $500 on that car.
Yep.
Because you got to make it safe.
I get Lemons, but I don't think I want to do Lemons, only because it's gimmicky, and it's not.
And you're probably like, oh, you guys are no fun.
It's a lot of effort for gimmicky.
I don't want to wear a costume. I don't want to.
I don't mind that stuff. I like that stuff. I like to watch that and be a spectator of that.
I do it. I want to do a Gambler 500, which is the new thing where you just buy a beater car. You don't even have to be a $500 car, and you just go off road.
Shouldn't make it. Yeah,
that's fun.
All right.
And there's no like extra safety equipment.
Yeah, I have nothing against Lemons cars. I understand why they do it. I understand what it is. What you said about Chump Car and that kind of stuff interests me a little bit more, because if I'm going to take the time, effort, and money to do a race car, I want to kind of take it serious.
And I want to be able to buy an old built race car
and race it.
And in those series, I'm not sure in Chump Car, but I know AER, you go out, you set a lap time. They can pretty much tell once you start racing if you sandbagged it.
Right.
You set a lap time, and then you're put in that class, and then you race against those people.
It's a little less of a shit show than a Lemons is. And I just feel like if I'm spending all that time, effort, and money in a car, I don't want to destroy it at a Lemons race where it's a much higher risk of it being destroyed, I think. Yeah. Based on what I've seen. I haven't participated personally in any of them.
No. I went and watched one.
Hey, listen, if somebody wants to sponsor a auto off-topic Lemons car, we will definitely do it, but I don't want to put my own money behind it.
No. But whatever. Oh, excuse me.
Phil Beers asks, cast iron, aluminum, or both?
I'm not sure. I assume he's talking about engine blocks.
You could be talking about pans.
I was thinking cooking pans.
Yeah, cast iron is definitely the answer to that case.
We've got a mix of cast iron and aluminum in our house.
And stainless steel?
No stainless steel.
Oh.
The aluminum heats pretty fast. It's nice and even.
Yes.
But it's no stick, which some people say Teflon's not good for you.
But did you die?
Nope. We like the...
cast iron's good for camping.
Cast iron is really good for camping because you don't really have to wash it.
Yeah, just put water and boil it.
Water and then scrape it with metal. You're not going to destroy it.
Yep.
You can kill someone with it if you have to.
Or a bear if you have to.
It would suck.
Not someone.
It's not good if you're going to hike, but if you're like car camping.
Yeah, if you're car camping, it's the way to go.
Yep, definitely.
As far as anything else goes, I mean, for an engine, if it's available in aluminum, sure, aluminum. Are we mixing the two? Don't mix the two. I hate it when
should
mix
mix
the
the two.
Steel block,
Almost
aluminum head.
All your cars are mixed.
I know, and they all break. Head gaskets left and right. Because it's between the two damn things.
2016 was the year of head gaskets.
Yes, it was. Hopefully, knock wood, the table in front of us. We're
It's IKEA wood.
It's Swedish wood, so the Saab should be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Benjamin Matthew asks, snow tires versus all seasons. We've already had a pretty long discussion about this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me finish the question. Excuse me.
Yep.
Snow tires versus all seasons. What is the real difference and benefits of running one set of all seasons versus two sets of seasonal tires? The only benefit is cost.
Yeah.
And it's not a cost benefit if you wind up crashing your car.
But you don't wear out one set of tires. Like, you basically are splitting the year between a set of tires.
Well, there's lots of benefits of splitting the tires. There's only one benefit of running an all season. And that one benefit is the cost. Period. End of story.
That's about it.
So don't do it. Go back to episode 2 or 3.
I think it's 2.
Episode 2. We
Yeah.
talk about that for 45 minutes.
Listen to episode 2, bro.
We'll tell you all about everything you need to know about snow tires. Buy snow tires. Live with snow tires. I think Ben runs snow tires, actually.
Yeah.
I know he runs summers.
Yeah.
I know his summers won't fly in winter. So
Yeah, we're gonna start calling them winter tires.
winter tires, not snow tires. Yes, temperature is important too. But yeah, run winter tires. Period. End of story.
All right. Brian Driggs has got a good question. What would you say are the top 3 skills gearheads need to master to get the most out of their automotive adventures?
Top 3 skills: diagnostics,
Yep.
basic diagnostics. If something breaks out in the road, being able to get home is huge.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to quantify skills. Basic mechanics is that a skill? Because if you don't know how to turn a wrench, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
You got to know how to turn a wrench. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. I mean, it's not
I guess, like, I call it mechanical, like,
knowledge,
fear.
ability.
I call it mechanical. Some people are afraid to take stuff apart.
See, I would think mechanical fear to me is not using something because you're afraid it's going to break.
Okay.
Like if you own a new car with launch control, not using the launch control because you're afraid you're going to pull a transmission out of the car.
I'll have to
That's
think of a better
mechanical
way to
fear
call
me.
that. But, like, I know there's some people that are worried about wrenching on something because they don't know how to do it.
Because they took apart their robot when they were 4 and couldn't put it back together.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. It doesn't. Like,
As somebody who's been doing this their whole entire life, the
Yeah,
question
I
is
know.
hard to answer
It's
because
hard, 'cause-
all the skills to me are one skill set. I have the skill set of mechanics. I can work on my car.
if somebody's just like, oh, we're going to take that apart, I'm like, okay, I've never done it before, but I'll do it.
Yeah, it's all nuts and bolts.
Yeah, to me, all cars are the same. When they come down to it, they're all the same. They
Yeah.
all work in the same principle.
Yeah, just what order do they go together?
It helps to have.
And if you take it apart, you should usually figure it out.
It does help to have repair information sometimes. but can mostly
If you
figure it
want to
out.
say 3 skills: basic mechanics, diagnostics, and welding. I mean, welding
useful.
isn't necessary to be a gearhead. You
I
can
don't
hire somebody
know how
to do it.
but I guess maybe patience, attention to detail. I don't know if that's a skill.
Organization,
Yeah.
definitely organization, because you can lose stuff real quick.
Yep.
It's a really good question, but I think we might have to come back to that one and answer it
think
again.
about
I think Brian might be. So maybe Brian's input can go into this too, because he's a bit of an automotive journalist himself.
Yep.
So he might.
Well, he
we
has
can
a
talk to Brian
second
about that.
question, and I think that was from him. I may have missed the
Yes.
person copying it.
Yes,
Okay.
it was.
So he says, what? It's probably
What's
supposed to be
what's
what is
the most?
the most universally hated vehicle you would secretly love to own?
1978 Dodge Volare station wagon.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Personal, so
3rd gen Eclipse V6 5-speed.
as a daily driver,
As
not
a daily.
no delusions of it being a race car.
They're super fast though.
But they're
They're stupidly fast.
for what they are.
In a-
They're fast,
in
but
a
they're not fast in any kind of competition they could be in.
garbage chassis
Yeah. So
in a straight line.
I enjoy
torque
driving them
steering.
because the V6 sounds really good.
Yeah.
They shift really nicely, but they don't handle very well. They don't look very good.
Nope.
It would be a good commuter, I guess. Maybe fast back road commuter
Because
or
they're
something.
super cheap,
Yeah, they're pretty much free, actually.
and they're really not that bad for
yeah, I guess
reliability.
I could probably own one. To just make sure it's got a timing belt done on it because it's a Mitsubishi. But yeah, I really want a Volare station wagon because my grandfather had one, and it was pea green with pea green vinyl, and it was just an awesome car, just because it was memories of my grandfather.
Enzo, relax. We're almost done.
Yeah, he's fine. Enzo, lay down. All right, next question.
Over there crying. Justin Hughes asks, what is the fastest color? And he says, hint, World Rally Blue.
So he answered his own question.
I would say, I see weightless white, just the Evo
Well,
color.
if you really want to go the world's fastest color, it's going to be something like Rosso Corsa or Porsche Guards Red
Okay.
or red is the world's fastest color.
Yeah.
Apparently it's black because the black lab here is chasing his tail in
Yeah.
circles around next to us. So he caught it.
You get the tail. You know that's attached to you, buddy.
I would say... Sorry, this is very distracting. I would say that the fastest color is red.
Yeah.
Just because whenever you think performance, what did 17-year-old Andrew paint in his intake parts in his car?
19, but red.
Red, yes, because red is the fastest color.
My valve cover is red in the cloud, but that's factory.
That's factory. It's fine.
I guess, yeah.
Red is the fastest color.
Type R, the R is red.
R is red. GTR, the R is red.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Red is
the fastest color.
We hereby decree red is the fastest color.
Right. World Rally Blue is the most fanboy color. Moving on. Sorry, Justin.
Chris Dorado wants to know, where do all the 10mm sockets go?
I know where they go. The same secret pocket in your dryer that all the socks are in.
Unless you're using my dad's tools, and then he has this secret, like, sixth sense that he knows when a socket's missing.
He does know where it is. He doesn't know where it is, but he knows it's missing every time. Remember the wrench that we lost in Mage's Volkswagen?
13
Yeah.
Because the stupid German car.
I had 13 millimeter, which is gone. It was in the heater channel or something.
He found it, fell out in the street.
Yeah, like a month later. But the other day I was working on your father's Blazer. I was helping him reinstall the
ring.
fender liner. My wedding ring fell off, which I shouldn't have been wearing working in the car anyway. Mm-hmm. But we could not find it, and we had the car almost 100% all buttoned back up, and we had to take the fender liner back off to find it because it had fallen, and there was so much grease and grime because it's an '89 Chevy Blazer, S10 Blazer. Yeah. There was so much grease and grime that when it fell, it just stuck on top of the frame rail underneath a brake line, and you couldn't get to it with the fender liner in the car. So.
All right.
But yeah, all the 10mm sockets, you take them off, you put them in your pocket, they go through the wash, they wind up in the same place all of those matching socks go to.
They go where all the cowboys go.
Where have all the cowboys gone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Far, far away.
Brad Anderson asks, what kind of grease would you use when packing muffler bearings?
I say to Brad Anderson, it's time for a new joke.
Yep.
That's an old joke, Brad.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Dad joke,
No
Brad.
dad jokes for not dad. I'm Dad Brad. You're not Dad Brad.
I said unobtainium grease.
Unobtainium?
Unobtainium.
I like it. Or what my dad always uses, space grease.
Space grease.
Space grease. Because my uncle used to work for a company that developed products that NASA used.
So that was real grease.
So it's a real grease, but he called it space grease because it was NASA grease.
Okay.
So it's basically just a lithium grease. It's nothing special.
Whatever.
Jeremy Nutt, tell us a helpful auto repair, auto body trick that we may not already know. Rubber bumpers. This is a fun one.
What about them?
I made a lot of money doing this because everybody tips you when you do it too. Mm-hmm. Customer has a urethane bumper or a rubber bumper on a modern car, and they've backed into somebody else. You have the Camry dent. Obviously, every Camry has the plastic bumper corner pushed in.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty common on most new cars.
A hair dryer or a heat gun.
They'll pop it back out.
Pop it right back out again. A little bit of polish gets the scratches off. There might be a little bit of distortion, but you save yourself, $500 or $600 with replacing it. Mm-hmm. So that's probably the best little trick that I always used. Made a lot of happy customers, a lot of repeat customers. You take care of them like that once, and they're always going to come back to you afterwards. Mm-hmm. So that was a good way.
I only learned this kind of recently. I never realized it. If you're threading in a bolt, if you start going backwards a little bit, it'll find the threads.
Yeah, before you tighten
it. Was like, poof, like mine. When somebody showed me that, I was like, oh, shit. That's
especially when you're doing like a blind thing where you can't see it. You're trying to line two pieces up.
I was like, damn, that's like
a
really
Volkswagen
good.
wheel.
Yeah.
Volkswagen wheels.
Yeah, stupid studs.
One last question. This is from Justin Marble. Old cars with low miles. Is it really as good as a deal as you might think? This is kind of a big topic, so we're going to touch on it quickly.
Yeah.
It depends on the car, and I think it is.
If it was sitting a lot.
Depends on where it was sitting, how it was stored, what's going on with the car. I have a lot of low-mile cars.
Stuff needs to move.
But I have a lot of low-mile cars.
Yeah.
We got that. My 84 RX-7 had 38,000 miles on it when I got it in 2012. And everybody said, the car's going to fall apart. Brake lines are going to go. Everything's going to fall apart. The rotors and the rotary engine, the seals are going to be gone. It's going to smoke. It's going to need to be rebuilt. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I drove that car almost every day in the summertime and never had a problem. Mm-hmm. I don't see it as a problem. I have a 36,000-mile RX-7 now, 91. It's
greatly exaggerated then?
I think it's a greatly exaggerated problem. Everybody says, I'd rather have a car with 150,000 miles than a car with 40,000 miles. I disagree. I've owned a lot of low-mile cars, and I've never had the problems that people talk about. Common sense. You look at it. If it's not dry-rotted, it's probably fine.
I don't think there's any scientific evidence. It's just all hearsay.
Now it is. A car's sitting out in the desert for 30 years. Yeah, it's going to be junk. The rubber's going to be gone. The hoses are going to be gone. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. My 1974 Dodge Colt has 10,000 miles on it. But all the hoses and all the lines in the car look fine because for the majority of the time it was stored in the garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I disagree.
Okay.
I think that rather than buy the high mile used up car, buy a low mile car and just do some minor maintenance stuff, rubber parts.
Change the fluids.
Change the fluids, yeah. Change the fluids, the drive belts, the timing belt, anything like that.
Definitely change brake fluid because that does...
Flush the brake fluid out and look at the brake lines.
It is hydrophilic.
Yeah. Brake lines are rubber. Mm-hmm. You can see them. I mean, it's not a secret if they're worn or not. Mm-hmm. So just look at them. If you look at the car and you can tell... You're going to know. I'll buy low-mile cars all day.
I like the idea.
If anybody out there doesn't want to buy a low-mile car and they want to sell it cheap, let me know. I'll buy it from you.
I like the idea of braided brake lines on older cars because...
See, I don't because you can't see them.
I can't see them.
You can't see a lot of them with rubber cores, don't they?
Yeah, but...
You can't see any wear on it or anything.
No, well, I like adding them myself.
Okay, that's fine.
Like, I'll definitely do them to the Talon because those brake lines are almost 30 years old.
They're old, yeah.
So, but anyway.
Hey, who needs brakes?
So I guess that does it for this episode, huh?
Yeah, we'll talk about your cars next time. We're going to go long this time, actually, because we spent a little extra time there.
An hour and 15. It's not too bad.
It's not too bad. Hopefully people stay interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully it sounds better.
It definitely sounds better in my head here.
It definitely, just on headphones it sounds better. So comments, suggestions, anything we got wrong, you can email us at autoofftopic at gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, the Auto Off Topic Podcast. I am putting back episodes up on YouTube because I know a lot of people now are using YouTube as an audio player. So hopefully more people will find our podcast on YouTube.
You'll flash some pretty pictures across.
Yeah, no, I just have it set up to just kind of show the cover photo so you can just play it in the background or whatever.
I would like to say thanks to all the people on Facebook that asked questions, and our page has a lot of new likes and a lot of new action this week, so I'm not sure what caused it, but I like it.
We've been kind of sharing it around, and so if you
can
go on iTunes, and you please rate, review, and of course share our podcast with a friend if you like it. You can follow me. Oh, you can also follow us on Auto Off Topic on Instagram. It's just Auto Off Topic. The other thing, what else? My personal Instagram is Raced in Anger. Our other in-studio guest this week that was very quiet, Enzo. Yeah, you looking around now?
He's looking at his reflection in the television screen.
He's getting ready to... He's kind of ready to go. I think he needs to go out again. But his Instagram is Cuddle Buddy Enzo.
He's really good with the phone.
Yeah.
Even without opposable thumbs. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, he's really good.
Stephanie's Kitchen?
Steph's Ugly Kitchen.
Yep.
That's because our kitchen is ugly. There's some nice pictures.
Yeah, not Steph, the kitchen.
Yeah, the kitchen. There's some nice pictures of the chocolate chip cookies she made that Cuddle Buddy Enzo devoured by himself.
Right.
I got
very meta
I got
here.
2. That was it. It's too bad. I was going to share them with you.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't need them.
Anyway,
I don't need them.
What do you got? You got anything to plug? Of course.
My personal Instagram is the TSI SS350. Mm-hmm. My company, Vintage Imports of New England, can be found on Instagram at Vintage Imports New England. Can be found on Facebook at the same, Vintage Imports of New England. And I can be contacted at Brad at vintageimportsne.com. Mm-hmm. And of course, that website is vintageimportsne.com. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to take another week to promote my wife's book because she just went through and re-edited it and got new copies of it printed, and we're pretty happy with the way it looks. It's called Maddox Pike.
Second printing.
Yes, it is a second printing. There were a couple of things because she self-edited it that when you self-edit something, you don't see your own little things. So
it's hard.
We kind of went through it.
Let it sit for a while.
Right. We let it sit for a while, went through it again. Not a lot of changes, no story change or anything.
If you
just
don't
make it flow a little better.
Know anything about making books, it's very expensive to pay somebody to edit your books.
It's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough skill. It's definitely not. It's a hard skill. Like somebody has to be a really good editor.
Yeah,
so
it's not. It's. I'm getting quite an education helping her with book publishing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's called Maddox Pike. It's a thriller. like not really more of a thriller than a mystery, but
Yep.
it's a good dark story. It was really good around Halloween.
But she's independent author, self-published.
yeah, support her, please. It's
on
Maddox Pike by
Amazon,
D.A.
right?
Flanagan. It's on Amazon. You can download it for Kindle, or you can buy it at barnesandnoble.com. So that's her, and that's it.
All right. Thanks for listening. And as always, keep your cards analog.
Good night.
Good night.